Hello, welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. My guest today is Janna Hong. Janna, you going to be great today?
Yes.
So, Janna, first thing, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for
Yeah, what do
fun?
you do for fun?
Just come here and drink with people. Yeah, drink with you, drink with my friends. I'm just kidding.
No, she's not.
Well, I I'm like a big introvert, so I like to stay home and just unwind by myself. And I like to just watch Netflix, movies, things like that. But most of my day-to-day life is very active and all the time I'm just physically interacting with people, so I definitely need that alone time for fun.
So, you've been an introvert. I'm an introvert too.
Mm.
How do you go about networking, right? 'Cause like me, like I enjoy speaking in front of people, like doing events and doing these podcasts.
Yeah, me
But
too.
like, if I meet someone like a networking event, do I really care how your day is going? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Do I care about the weather? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Right. So, like, how do you like network as an introvert?
Well,
What tips you have?
I love humans, but I hate them at the same time. I love humanity. I love getting to know people, but it's just like if you do it constantly, it's definitely a little bit draining. I think we share the same like type. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah.
yeah, both introverted and INFJ, I think it's the type.
Yeah, INFJ,
But
yeah.
yeah. So I approach a lot of my interactions with a lot of curiosity towards just a human being. I don't care what your background is, but I'm just going to be curious about your uprising and all of that. And that's what also kind of got me into neuroscience and psychology and all that stuff.
Yeah, like same along those things you said about being like humans. Like I say, like with HR, like you need great people who like have a great company. However, comma, most people suck, right? So like,
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, if you put it that way,
yeah,
people are good and people also
they
are
are.
bad.
They
So
are. Yeah.
you can't really categorize them.
No, you can't. You shouldn't anyway. But I do anyway. Once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our brain does actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like they say, don't judge a person by the cover. But that's the case. Why do books have covers, right? You know, like
Exactly. Yeah, we
I mean, if
can't.
someone comes like you see someone walking down the street like dressed in a three-piece suit,
Yeah.
or shirts, t-shirt, flip flops, you're gonna automatically have different, especially the person in three-piece suits. Everyone else around is like in flip flops and t-shirts, right?
Right.
Like,
No, I definitely think that looks do matter, but
yeah,
people nowadays are like, oh, just be yourself
yeah,
and
but
blah
you
blah.
should like do
Looks
some,
definitely do
yeah,
matter.
but you should do some research and dive a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah,
Find out about the person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So, what kind of hobbies do you have?
My hobbies, that's a good question. I definitely like just hanging out with friends. I my life outside of work is really boring. I also like to go eat a lot of good food. So I'm like a big Yelper. I just post a lot of food reviews. And I actually started this hobby during COVID when all the businesses were being shut down. So yeah, I just write food reviews, reviews for places, and I like to go to places alone as well. Just visit new exploration is my
So,
hobby
you
and
do food
travel.
reviews on the Yelp or
Food
somewhere else?
reviews, I like explorations, just going out and visiting new places.
What's some of your like your go-to places to eat at?
My go-to places, I actually I need to think about that.
Okay.
There's because my personality is like I always need to go out and try something new. So I
Is there a food that you don't try? Like, okay, I've tried this one time. I'm never eating this again.
probably not,
Okay.
not in the Seattle
Okay.
area. Yeah.
So
There's not that much exotic food here.
no, no, not. So
Yeah.
I was in Vietnam with my friends from September 1st to September 10th. And like I ate some snails for the first time.
Oh, how was that?
It's not bad. It's not horrible, right? I'd eat it again, It's not
Mhm.
terrible.
Like little cooked snails? I
Yeah.
thought,
The
okay.
shells, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the craziest thing I did over there, so we're at my friend's wife's uncle's house, right?
Okay.
Only his my friend's wife Mina, she spoke Vietnamese, like she's from there, right?
Hmm.
And so we all this food and stuff, we're eating, drinking, or whatever. Afterwards, the uncle brings back these three shots, right? Like clear liquid, right? And he goes like, drink this. He goes like this. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So me and Kevin think this might be digestive, right?
Okay.
And Kevin he had fucking ass, right? What it was, right?
Yeah.
This dude brought back like a gallon of seahorses. So we
Seahorses.
literally
You
drank seahorse juice.
Can I Google seahorse?
Yeah,
That's a thing?
yeah. Here, I'll see you the picture real fast.
Yeah, seahorse. Wait, what's the name of the food?
It
Seahorse.
was just hold on. I'll show you the picture
You went to Vietnam, Cole. Did you?
here. The uncle bought that out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I did not know that you could actually eat that.
No, it was we didn't eat it. It was just like they put it in some kind of water and we drank the water that was from the seahorse soaking it out. I guess
What does that do to your body?
I don't know. I mean, we didn't die, so
Okay.
yeah. Supposed to be so
That's
digestive thing.
very.
Yeah.
Did you ever see like seahorses get letting the baby out?
No,
No, it like squirts hundreds of babies out.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, lots of videos about it.
So you have your bachelor's in neuroscience.
Yes,
I'm
neuroscience.
guessing that's not like getting a degree in basket weaving, nothing like that, right?
In what
In basket
exactly?
weaving, like you got to
Uh,
be kind of smart to be a neuroscientist.
oh my goodness. When I first went to university, I had no idea that you had to apply for a major. Okay, so first of all, I wasn't even planning on going to college in the beginning, so I was really behind on like the entire college process. I didn't even know what the word undergraduate meant when I was an undergrad. So I went into college thinking, hey, I'm going to study neuroscience. But it turns out neuroscience was one of the most competitive majors to get into. And I had absolutely no idea when I first joined college. So literally like 2, 3 months before the application, I just went crazy. I talked to all the admissions officers and things like that. And, you know,
There's also some water behind you. You need water.
yeah. So, um, yeah, but it was a very tough major to get into. And it turns out that most of the people in the major were incredibly smart, like way smarter than I am in terms of GPA, in terms of
So why do you
everything.
say that, right? Like, why do you say this more than you? I mean, you got in the program too, so obviously, you're not no dummy, so
But
you're in there
the
too.
track is completely different than mine. Most people that go into neuroscience go in there because they want to become neurosurgeons. They want to go into the med field. They're super disciplined people, and there are only about like 50, 60 people in the major. And obviously, med school wasn't my track, but I kind of felt I was the outsider or the one that's a little bit odd because I went in there because I was truly just curious about neuroscience in general, but everyone else was in there because they wanted to go towards a very specific track. They knew what they wanted way before going in there. They prepared for it. So,
And so neuroscience, what other careers can people in neuroscience do? Like surgery and like what else can they do?
um, I there's so many neuroscience is so interdisciplinary, but the majority of people are going to surgery track, but I'm going into more of a computational neuroscience track. I think AI can blend in with neuroscience as well. So that's where I'm going into. But most people also do end up in labs, just neuroscience labs, research, biology research, so on.
And so for surgery, you're talking about people going to work for Elon Musk, Neuralink company, and putting the Neuralinks in people's brains.
You know what's so funny? Neuralink hires computer scientists. They mainly hire computer scientists. And my question is like, who's going to teach me all the neuroscience biology when the entire population of Neuralink is these software engineers? Like, are these CS people going to teach me neuroscience? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my question.
So next, talk about your childhood a little bit, like your background, like how you got to this place.
That's a big question. I I come from a pretty diverse background. Well, so when I was young, I grew up in a very, very strict household. Um, there were some violence involved. I'm not in the best relationship with my parents. My parents really just urged me to be the top of everything in terms of academics. They were super into that. So everything that I did, I was always like the youngest person to be in like piano recitals, art contests, and the A+ first class child. I was a second grader in a fifth grade class, for example. So I was in all those accelerated programs. That led to a lot of stress for like a little kid like me. And I ended up pretty much running away from home when I was 16. And I
And
started
where did you grow up at? Like what state or what place?
Basically Seattle, but my parents got divorced when I was like 9 years old. So my mom flew to Korea with me, and my dad stayed in the US. So for the majority of my childhood, I was going back and forth between Korean school and an American school, like flip-flopping between two countries that were complete opposite
Yeah.
cultures. So each year,
What city in Korea?
what city? I was actually born in Seoul, but
Okay.
back then I was in Suwon. It's
Okay.
called
Yeah, I
Suwon.
was stationed in Seoul for like '05 to '08. Me and my family lived for 3 years. Yeah.
Really? What brought you to Seoul?
In the military. I was in the army.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So
me
your
and my family,
entire family
yeah,
lived
we were there
there.
for 3 years. Yeah. Lived like by
Interesting.
Itaewon district.
Oh, Itaewon. Yeah, that's a very famous. It's quite diverse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Itaewon.
Yeah.
So you speak Korean as well?
No, no.
No, you lived there for 3 years.
Yeah, I know. I suck.
Not even a hello?
No, my kids and wife do, but they can get by still. They can go to like a Korean restaurant here, order food and stuff like that. Yeah,
Really? How old are your kids?
they're all grown
Okay,
out of the house.
that's really impressive, though.
Yeah. So I remember like in the army, we used to have like a thing called a Katusa. Basically, a Korean soldier come like work with us like a year,
Mhm.
and they always has all these stories about how the parents put all the pressure on them. Like they always had like all
It's
this.
very,
Yeah,
very,
it's like
yeah.
I was like, good lord, like that's not parent, that's abuse. Like, what are you doing, right?
That is literally, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought so too. But, there's that stereotypical Asian parents that's
yeah,
strict, but I feel like my parents were 10, 20 times more strict. They were really kind of obsessed with keeping up a certain image,
yeah,
I think. So
yeah.
to me as a kid, that was incredibly pressuring. My
So,
parents
so,
didn't,
so do you have any chance? You have any fun as a kid? Or was it all like pressure, pressure,
well,
pressure?
yeah, it was pressure after pressure. I didn't even get to choose my friends, for example. I didn't get to choose what I could wear outside. So it was incredibly strict and
And it's not like you're like 4 or 5 years old. This is going on. This is like your junior high, high school.
not really in high school, but I would say up until like middle school maybe,
Okay.
but it's still a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So that's really what got me into learning about childhood and parenting. So I was like this like 12-year-old reading books about parenting. Like how do we properly parent a kid? Like I know my parents love me and they care about me. They do all these things because they care. But just imagine like a 10-year-old reading a book about parenting.
Yeah.
Like that was me while I was growing up. So um I
Is your
yeah.
mom still over there?
My mom is actually here
Okay.
in Bellevue
Okay.
living with me, but I have not seen or talked to my dad since I was like 16,
Okay.
15. So I have no idea what he's doing or where he
Yeah.
is
I
or
think I'll go back
anything.
to Korea to visit. I mean,
Not
that's
often at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see our family over there, like cousins or something, aunts, uncle.
Not really.
Okay.
No, no. I don't know anyone from my dad's side, but
Okay.
yeah. I used to visit a lot when I was a kid, but since my mom completely moved here, it's it's like document issue, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know. Kind of difficult for her to
So
go back.
you kind of ran away at 16. Talk about running away at 16, and then how did that like time period from 16 to the time you went to college. I'm sure that's pretty like
Yeah.
exciting, not more like tumultuous. So like that's like a lot of pressure.
My life is so weird. So I actually dropped out of high school during the college application week.
I'm a high school dropout too.
Really?
I dro-
Well, let's high five
I dropped out in
and
the ninth grade. Yeah, no 10th grade, right? Because with
that's
me,
awesome.
so I would always skip school all the time, right?
Why did you skip school?
I did.
I recommend people to go to school. Like if
I wasn't a good student. Like one time, I was a habitual bad student. So like in the sixth grade, me and my friend Patrick Norman, we skipped school for 12 straight days. We
ooh,
just going like this doing like dumb stuff, like going to movies, going to amusement parks. And so finally, trial day, we're like, man, this is ridiculous, right? No one's looking for us. We got to school. We got to
mm-mm.
school.
Don't they give you like court time if you miss that many
Not
days?
back then.
They're sending me court
Yeah.
documents.
So we went back to school, and of course they're gonna punish us, right?
Hmm.
Their punishment was to give us a 3 day suspension.
Oh my God. That's lovely. I would totally take
And we're
that.
like, okay, I'm good with this,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then for the 10th grade, so before in Texas, you can miss as many days as you want, as long as you pass. But they passed a law that says like if you miss more than a certain amount of days, you get any credit. So me, skipping school, I passed that limit like in February or March, right? Like So you're talking about even if I finish school, I don't get any credit. Makes no sense to me. Of course, looking back, I
Right.
would have stayed in school and learned stuff, right? So instead, I just dropped out and like hung out. What's crazy, even crazier, is I still graduated on time.
Oh, me too, actually. Isn't
Yeah,
that crazy? Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
That is crazy. Wow. Why did you hate school so much?
it's boring. Like yeah. I just
And were your parents okay with it?
so I was living with my mom, and she had no control over me. To be honest with you, right? I was like 14, 15, going to clubs, hanging out 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
They had no age limit or well, Texas, so
I
I
mean,
understand.
yeah.
That's
And plus,
crazy.
I learned early if you actually supposed to be there, no one bothers you. So I just walk in these clubs, and like,
Hmm.
and plus someone older would be with me, right? So yeah,
That's crazy because I was the complete opposite. I didn't go to any clubs. I didn't even drink until I was like 21 or 22.
yeah. I was
But
drinking, smoking, doing all that stuff. Yeah.
you're a gangster. Wow. Yeah. Love
I
that.
won't go that far, but yeah,
No.
yeah. But I graduated on time. Yeah. So back to you. So talk
Yeah.
about the process, like you're getting away out of the house, going to college, like you're living on your own, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, actually, the so I dropped out during college application week because there was a huge violence between me and my dad or something, and I ended up in Egypt.
Wait, say that again.
I so back
You
then,
said like
my
Egypt, the country, right?
yes, Egypt, the country, Mansoura, Cairo, Alexandria.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, nobody expects that from me. I just
That's totally random.
that is very random.
I expect you to say something like, California or Las
No,
Vegas, maybe New
no,
York City, maybe back Korea.
it's so expensive. Those places are. I don't know
So
what
you're
we
in
would do
Egypt.
there.
How old are you in Egypt?
Probably. So my timeline is completely screwed up, but approximately like 16,
Okay.
17. And my very first partner at the time, whom I dated for about 4 or 5 years, was Egyptian, and he had his whole family there. And I just stayed at
Yeah.
his family's
Okay.
house. But yeah, that was fun. Getting interviewed by the FBI and
Yeah.
everything was fun as a teenage
Yeah.
runaway.
Sure it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So um, I was the 16-year-old that started to just started my own freelance thing online. So I did a lot of ghostwriting. I did like Adobe stuff like Photoshop and all this like technical stuff for people on Freelancer. And I had to fake my age and basically tell people or just act like a 25-year-old professional that went to college. But I was actually just 16 years old, um, completely alone in the different country and all that. So that was fun. But eventually I came back and went to high school graduation because even my own I think advisor in high school, I don't know what to call them, but they were also really pushing me to just get my high school certificate because yeah, I was dropping out in the final year.
And then when did you come back to this?
I don't even basically around my high school graduation
Okay.
time, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But even then, I didn't apply to a single college or anything like that. So I just worked at a local coffee shop for about a year. And then my entire family line, my aunts, my uncle, everyone was like, Janna, you have to apply to college or else you're not going to have a future. They're super traditional
Yeah.
people and they were like almost like crying and begging that I should, do something with my life. So I was like, okay, I'll just apply to one school, which is University of Washington. I got in well, I don't know how I got in because I didn't send in my SAT score in the beginning. And they require SAT
Yeah.
scores. But
Maybe
yeah,
you took it before and sent it and just don't remember.
I don't know. But back then it was really unfortunate that I got into that university because I was hoping that I don't get in because I didn't want to go to college at all. So
So either University of Washington and your backup plan was to remain a coffee barista.
no, my backup plan was to become a successful freelancer. And I
Okay.
was already like teaching people virtually across the world. People
Yeah.
English. Yeah, I was teaching people English, and I was also starting my own like little tutoring program for
Okay.
local like kids. So I have a lot of experience in just education in general. Even though I'm not, I wasn't even educated myself. So yeah, really, really weird path that I took. But when I first went into college, I was like, okay, nobody can stop me. So I took like the weirdest classes in the beginning. I took freaking ceramics class, some art classes, and I got like a C in an art class, which is impossible. I just didn't turn in my assignments. So yeah, that was my start to my college year. And then second year got a little bit more serious about my academics. Really wanted to get into the neuroscience major. I was like, if I can't get into the neuroscience major, there's no point in me continuing college. So I basically poured my energy into that and somehow got in, and here I am now.
So talk about the internship you had,
Which internship?
the one at Cal Berkeley.
Oh, yeah, that was actually, yeah. So you can tell that my neuroscience interest stems from all the way from high school. Actually, way before that, because I was reading like parenting books and childhood books since I was like 10. But I basically wrote this essay about the neurobiology behind stress and epigenetics. Um, and when I wrote that essay, I didn't even know what epigenetic meant, but I just wrote that entire essay just for to get that scholarship. And somehow I got in and they flew me out. And I was able to do this like 2, 3 week intensive course. This was all during high school, by the way. So
This is high school, not
this was high
okay.
school.
This ain't college. That's like high school.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did so many like academic related stuff in high school, and then I ended up dropping out in college application week. That was my form of rebellion
Your
towards.
rebellion, yeah. So you didn't know drinking and doing drugs and like
Not at
your
all.
rebellion was
Not at all.
your rebellion was, I'm not going to college.
I was like top in my class for like so many years, accelerated
Imagine the
programs.
conversations like your teachers and advisors had when you did that. They
Yeah,
had to be
yeah,
like
definitely.
they were like, were they like, man, we failed Janna. Why she doing this? So what's
Yeah,
going on? Like,
definitely. I think that's why I came back because it, I wasn't, I mean, I was impacting so many other
mm,
people around me and they were like sad.
yeah,
They were
I can
very
imagine
sad.
what they
Yeah.
were going through,
So,
like, what did we do wrong? Like, what's
yeah,
something with their
it's
home life?
just
Yeah,
so much pressure as a child. I didn't understand like why I had to, get all A's and get all good test scores. Like, what's the point?
yeah,
If I see students like getting polished since they were a kid, all to go just to go to a good
yeah.
college, I just look at them and I feel really bad for them. I'm like, all for what? So yeah, I decided to make a point, drop out during college but everything was super planned out for me. Like to the point of me like dropping out,
Mhm.
I planned out everything. I was saving up money
Okay.
for many
It
months.
wasn't a spur of the moment
It
decision.
wasn't, it was not a spur of the
Okay.
moment. I was quietly packing, saving money.
Mhm.
Yeah, doing everything behind my secretly. I didn't
Yeah,
even tell any of my friends because,
that's smart on your part, though.
yeah, everything was planned out. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And this
it's very
industry you
cool.
did, like you said, it was like 2 or 3 week intensive training.
Yeah, yeah. So within like 3 weeks, they went over an entire 1 year's worth of college neuroscience course, and I was in high school. So that was fun. I remember it wasn't too fun for me because I was actually still in high school. Like I was still, it wasn't like a vacation for me. If I had to go back to Seattle, I had to finish my exams, like physics exams. And I remember I was like studying so hard for physics, my physics exam, and then there were like people there that wanted to just hang out every free time that we got. So that was a little bit hard for me during that time.
Yeah.
But
And right now, you're working for something called the Allen Institute for Brain Science,
mhm, mhm.
and also the Seattle Children's Brain Institute. So all those like two full time jobs, two volunteer things, like, and how do you balance both of those?
I can balance them because they both work on the same topic of um, aging related diseases and hippocampus and all that. So it's very fun for me. The Seattle Children's is basically a wet lab. Are you familiar with wet
No, yeah.
lab?
What is a
Just basically, you have to be hands-on with the experiments. You have to do mouse surgery. You have to cut the mouse heads off and then get the brain, physically slice the brain, image the brain, and put it on the under the microscope. That's a wet lab. And then a dry lab is when you do dry stuff like computational stuff.
Okay.
So I do dry lab stuff in the Allen Institute, and then I do the physical experiments in the Seattle Children's. They're not directly related, although they're looking at the same parts of the brain. Um, I can balance this out because I've been working at Seattle Children's for way before Allen. So all the work that I do there is like it's pretty much automated for me. Like I don't need to think too hard to do all the experiments because I already know how to do it. I've been doing it for about a year, so it's not too hard at all. But now the work at Allen Institute, which is all computational stuff, that's a little bit hard for me because I don't come from a computer science background. I learned neuroscience back in college, so I had to learn Python from scratch. I had to learn all the computational data science stuff from scratch and then analyzing it and all that. So yeah, but the Allen one is my full-time job right now.
So that's the one that is, I guess, paying you money or whatever.
Oh, both are paying me
They both pay
money.
money.
Yes.
And is there any conflict? So it's like, how you work? Like, are they both 9 to 5 jobs? You get like to come and go as you please. Like, cause like, how
Um,
because I think one would be like, hey, Janna, be here all the time. Other one like, be
yeah,
here
of
all the time. Like,
course.
how you balance that?
The Seattle Children one, I have to be there Tuesdays, Wednesdays in person. That's when the antibody staining and everything works. But the Allen Institute, a lot of my personal work is remote. I can do it remotely, but I do still meet with my mentor 3 times a week. And I prefer that to be in person as well. So, uh, I mean, it works out at the end. Yeah, the only downside is the transportation. I have to ride like 3 different buses to travel
Cause you
to
coming
the
from Bellevue, right?
I'm from Bellevue, yeah. And they're still working on the light rail.
Yeah, they'll be working
They're-
that like in the year 21 or something.
They would open the light rail like last year or something, but
Yeah,
it's still not
I don't.
open.
I don't know how true this is, but someone told me that when they built the light rail or their bridge, somehow the engineering messed up and
Really?
didn't calculate the weight of the train going over the bridge or something like that. Right? It's like imbalance or something, so it's unsafe. So yeah,
For Bellevue?
yeah, going from the
Oh
yeah,
my
Bellevue,
gosh.
well, yeah, that's what I heard a few people say. I mean, like,
Interesting.
yeah, hopefully it's
Yeah.
not true, but I'm pretty sure it is, right?
Very interesting. Yeah. It sucks, but what can
So
I
yeah,
do?
catch 3 buses to go from home to the University of Washington,
Pretty much.
or where
Yeah,
you going
two,
to?
3 buses. I like riding the bus itself, but I hate waiting for the bus
Yeah,
outside in the cold and with a bunch of
yeah,
other people.
yeah,
That's the worst part.
that too. So any plans like get a master's in anything?
I do. I definitely do. But right now, I'm still in the exploration stage. I
Okay.
love industry. A lot of my friends in the computer science, they went straight into industry
Mhm.
from bachelor's and they're making like way, way more than I am right now. But yeah, I still want to pursue PhD.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I'm going to do that with neuroscience and not computer science.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you actually earned a scholarship, didn't you, for college?
I didn't pay for college. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't pay for college.
How competitive? Come about how competitive that was to earn a scholarship.
I have no idea. So I don't know anything about college actually. I didn't even know the term undergrad. I didn't even know what freshman, sophomore, junior meant when I was in college. So I don't know how competitive it was, but um, I,
You just know
yeah,
you applied and you got it.
yeah, yeah. And I'm
Okay.
so grateful that I didn't have to pay for college at all. I was also an RA for one of the oldest dorms in at University of Washington. Um, so that also paid for my dorm and gave me some food money on my Husky card. So I got food.
So next, talk about
It's
this
not a good RA.
on your LinkedIn. I think on the website there's something on May 12th. There was something. There was a probably saying this wrong. There's a NCEC times I2 Neuro AI ethics panel.
Oh
Can you
yeah,
talk
that
about
was
that?
that was just a one-time event. My organization, Interactive Intelligence, we collaborated with the computational neuroscience department at University of Washington, and they held an entire event inviting people from like even France. Like, have you heard of like Jan LeCun?
Mhm.
Or I don't know much about those people, but it was like this whole 2 3 day event, I think, and
Okay.
we took charge of one of those events, and we just held an ethics panel with a bunch of professors that we um, recruited.
So why do you think ethics is as important in AI and neuroscience?
Ethics is very important because AI is dominating our society entirely, and only a handful of people right now are contributing to the development of AI. And I think that's quite an issue. There's so many issues going on. Um, One example is, Amazon, they developed like an AI system to streamline its recruitment process. And the AI was trained on resumes for like the past 10 years. Obviously, it was male dominated. And so eventually the system began to favor male candidates more than, female candidates. Um, there's so much like bias that's going on in the AI world. And even fast forward to 2020, there's a man named Robert Williams that was wrongfully accused because of a flawed facial recognition system. And federal studies has also shown that these AI systems misidentify different races like Asians and Black people up to 100 times more than the white person. I mean, so those are just a couple of examples, but so much bias going on
And my
in
thing
there.
is like an AI is here to stay, and but how do we like? But to me, it's who's coding the AI, right? Like, what kind of ethics do people have coding it, right? Like good people, they're bad people. Like, how do we determine like the people doing the actual coding?
Most people that are doing acts of coding come from a very similar educational mold, very similar backgrounds. If you look at the demographics itself, even in um, the computer science building at the UW, which is a very well-known computer science program because Bill Gates and Paul J.
Yeah,
Allen created it. So even there's only about 12% of women in the computer science major, 12% of girls
yeah,
in the computer science major. So it's heavily like skewed. Most of them are just white
yeah.
guys in the computer science. So demographically, it's right the
What age were you when you started becoming interested like in computer science and neuroscience, like STEM thing?
well, I was interested in neuroscience since forever, I think.
Like like a
Yeah,
little
I
kid?
mean, yeah, because I was like reading like
There's a question
parenting.
for you. And obviously, I don't answer, I expect you have the answer to this, a solution. But I think stats show like, I'm make this number up a little bit. Like stats show like 80% of little girls are interested in that kind of STEM thing, right? But come high school, that drops down to 10%. Why do you
Yeah,
think there's such a
that's
big reduction? Is this societal pressures? It's like, of course, it's hard. So people drop out because it's hard, but still, like guys, it stays the same number pretty much across, but girls drop down so much.
what do you mean guys say the
I
same
mean,
number for some
yeah,
interests? Oh, okay.
suppose guys are 80%, it might
Right.
drop down to 50%, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the societal culture, right? But it's weird because if you look at the statistics from like 1987, there were literally 37% of women in the computer science major compared to right now, there's only like 13%, which is it's like it's definitely dropping. And I think it's definitely for cultural reasons. Because back in like when computer science first came out, like 1960s, around that time, coding used to be like a woman's grunt work.
Yeah, I remember seeing like
To
a photo somewhere where like back in the 50s, it's all females like coding and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because it was like a grunt work, men didn't really care much about it, I guess. But um nowadays it's completely male dominated for
yeah.
sure. And
So let's suppose there's a little girl out there, sixth, seventh grade, or pick your age you want. How do you recommend her like to keep interested in like, coding or STEM stuff? Like, what your advice to a little girl would be?
advice, I mean, I think the culture nowadays is really changing. I think the gender norms are changing a little bit, especially in the West Coast. I may see that a lot. I would just encourage the girls to like not feel intimidated by male dominated presence because I think that's the main thing that kind of keeps the girls away from pursuing their STEM studies. It's like they walk into a room, maybe like a computer science club, and then they mainly see a bunch of guys. But I would say, don't be intimidated by that. You can pave your own path and be your own role model for this field.
So what do you see the future of AI? Do you think AI is actually going to take away all the jobs? All the robots going to take over? Like,
Not really, no.
yeah,
I
what do you
think
think
right
the
now
future is?
I'm quite optimistic about AI. I think AI can help humans be more efficient and do all the like like a calculator, do all those like nitty-gritty calculations for humans. But I think AI is also going to create more jobs. I think so I read statistics somewhere, and statistics that's like predicting the future. And the statistics did say that the AI will create more jobs than replace jobs. So
Yeah, I don't think people understand that, right? Even from the beginning of time, it's a cycle, right? Like the example I use, like before when the car first came out, people like, what's gonna happen to all the jobs for the horses, right? Like making saddles, shoveling shit from the horse shit off the street, right? Like those jobs are winning, but of course people became mechanics, right? I think the
yeah,
same thing now. I think just you gotta be able to be able to like change stuff up.
yeah. So you'd be surprised. I obviously come from a very diverse background, and my experience range from volunteering at homeless shelters all the way to hospitality and industry and everything. And you'd be surprised to know that people outside of the tech sphere really have no exposure to the
Yeah,
tech advancements.
yeah,
Really,
they have no clue.
you
Yeah,
can go to a local barista and ask about ChatGPT. They're not going to be like too familiar with it.
yeah.
I think students nowadays are familiar with ChatGPT, but still, people outside of the tech sphere, they have very limited exposure to the
No,
advancements.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's really surprising. Um, and it's a different world for me because I mainly interact with people in the tech sphere every single day. So buzzwords like ChatGPT are so common, but you step out of the tech sphere and you interact with the broader community and they don't know much about anything that's going on.
yeah. With people scared that AI is gonna take their jobs away,
Yeah, that's not gonna.
is do you think we need to do something like universal basic income, like pay people some money during the transition? What's your viewpoint on UBI?
I think that's like a far future thing. I don't think AI is going
No time
to,
soon.
yeah, no time soon. And if anything, I think AI is going to make jobs more efficient.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And I people are also afraid of like AI um becoming evil.
The Skynet.
Yeah, and dominating, society. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some cons of AI? What are some bad things about AI?
It spits out what it's, being trained on. Currently the AI all again is it's being sculpted by a very certain demographic only, so it kind of concerns me. Um and also one concern that I have is not everyone is going to have the same benefits from the AI. AI is racing forward, but not everybody is able to keep up the pace with it. And I think the gap is twofold. One is a technological gap, and one is the informational gap. And both of them would lead to a starker wealth gap. And obviously, it'll be the lower income households that are getting negatively impacted most of the time. So I do think that there is potential for AI to um, lead to like a starker societal gap, wealth divide. And also, you can probably see this in businesses as well. There are insights from McKinsey's that show the companies that are able to fully embrace AI might have their cash flows double in the year 2030 compared to the ones that are not able to fully embrace AI into their company. So they're the ones that are left out and grappling with those competitive disadvantages and so on. So I think there will be those societal gaps, certainly.
So let's suppose in the future, 10, 20 years in the future, suppose there's a a president AI that's running for president, right?
What?
Yeah, like suppose it's like the AI running for president. Would that be a
Yeah.
good thing or a bad thing? Like he had all the information, all the knowledge, he needs to make good
Oh my
decisions.
goodness. I don't think
Versus like a regular human who's like flawed,
can
right?
we ask cool? I don't think that's possible. Yeah.
I mean, just think
It-
of what it was, like
An AI running for
yeah,
president? Crazy.
yeah.
Is this a thing?
I'm sure it's not, but
Yeah. I what's the AI being fit?
like he has all the knowledge of the world. He'd make snap decisions.
So you're automatically saying that the humans need to kind of obey to that non-human
I mean, if he was like,
AI.
yeah. I mean, do you think humans would ever like, like trust a computer more than a human? Because humans are flawed. They make bad decisions. They have biases. This AI presidential candidate AI was like programmed to do the right thing, make good decisions. I mean, hopefully, the human race would never like
Yeah.
trust a computer like that. But
Yeah, I don't think people are gonna vote for that at all. Yeah, that's
what if AI promised them all like $1,000 a day? Vote for me, give you $1,000 a day. No more war, no more this.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I have no comment to that.
No.
I don't yeah, I need to think about that for some time,
Okay. All
for
right.
sure.
No
But
worries.
that's I've never thought about
Yeah.
that. Like AI becoming the
Yeah.
president. I've never
Because like you program,
where do you think about these? Like, you just came up with
I
your
just came up with it. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
very creative.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't AI like I know you program AI at once, doesn't like continuously learn on its own and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess so, but I he's the was the expert of, the AI side of things, but it can learn on its own. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's definitely learning based on the data that we feed into it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that's all I can say.
Okay. So no president AI.
Do you want to have an AI
No, I
president?
don't. But
You just hate humans so much that you would rather trust an AI
I'm
to
not saying that,
govern
but
our society.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept, right?
It is a very interesting
Like
concept,
how far do
actually.
humans go as far as like trusting machines, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think most of the population would not trust a machine. Um, and again, most people have reservations about it.
Mhm.
They think that, AI, I think it's mainly because they don't work in AI.
Yeah.
So they don't really know how things work. So they're just afraid of what it can
I don't know.
do.
Part of me says like if you tell like a regular human if if you do this present AI thing or whatever AI thing, no more crime, no more this to be safe and secure. I think a lot of people like give up more than they think they give. Like even now, people talk about like privacy. There's no such thing as privacy anymore, right? Privacy is pretty much gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
We gave up privacy for security, kind of speaking, right? So I don't know. I think people are willing to give up more than they think they are.
I believe so too. And that's why one goal of mine is to help people make well-informed decisions, and educate people so that they're not just, scared about AI and so on.
So AI, like, what kind of background do you need to become like a what's called like AI person, right? You need to have mathematics background, physics, computer science. What kind of background do you need for AI?
Definitely computer
Okay.
science for AI. I think physics and math background can definitely help with the computer science, but I would definitely say computer science. Academic setting. I know, like, literally my close friend in the Netherlands. Self-taught. He's self-taught. He didn't go to college, but he's now like an AI expert at these companies. So I think you can definitely, teach yourself all these technical computational skills, but it's going to be
It's not going to be easy.
it's not going to be easy at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I found this on your website. Somewhere it said, how do we define what is natural and how do we define humanity? So how do you define what is natural? And how do you define humanity?
That's a really difficult question. Um, you have to think about, like, what can humans do and what that machines cannot do. Should start with that question. Yeah, that's a very difficult question that we actually asked the ethics professors about like 2 years ago, I think.
So what's
But
your answer to it?
it's we have to first define like what it means to be a human. And I think that exploration is exactly what got me into computational neuroscience. Have you heard of Jeffrey Hinton? he's called the godfather of AI or whatever, like literally the godfather of artificial intelligence. But his original ambition was to model the human brain and replicate the cognitive processes using a machine like artificial intelligence. So that was his original goal. And that's what my group is also inspired by. We're inspired by decoding how humans think, how we learn, and how we evolve as a human being. And I do think that machines might be able to help us decode that. But it's how do you even define that to begin with? That's such a deep philosophical question. What makes us human? If we have a sentient machine that also has emotions, like how do we compare that with an actual human being with emotions as well? And if we just replicate our human brain and consciousness into a machine, how how do we differentiate that between an actual human being? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So it's just like an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
think what makes
that.
makes us human is like two things. Like, and I could be wrong. Like, I don't think you can like code AI to be creative, right? I could be wrong. Like, humans were so creative, right? We like draw, paint, sing, all this different stuff, right?
AI is doing that too, though.
Mhm.
AI
But
is
is it but
drawing
is
and
it but is it but
painting.
is it actually creating like a new song, a new painting? Like, I know you can like code it to make a painting, but can that on its own, like, I'm gonna paint this wall like these different colors, right? Or does someone has to code it, right?
Right, right.
So I think that's with us. And also with humans, I could be wrong too. I think we're the only like species on the world. Like we actually have to have something better, right? Every year's a new iPhone, everything's your improvement, right? Like if you go like, to like we'll say, I don't know, a bunch of tigers in the jungle, right? They're not like I could be wrong. I don't think they're trying to. Okay, they're not improving the hunting process. I don't think, right? They're not
Hmm.
improving the way they swim. Right? With us, everything has to be better, right? It's an ongoing process. Like the iPhone every year comes out a little bit better, right? And we improve ourselves, right? I don't think. Again, I could be wrong. And I don't think AI can like improve itself unless it's coded to.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think AI can definitely do things that humans cannot, and AI can be very, very good at certain dimensions that humans cannot really do. I mean, like calculations or, spitting out certain data. AI is so good at that.
But can like AI like I think every year there's like a new coding language that gets invented, right? Can AI like on its own create a new coding language?
Yes.
Mhm.
You said yes.
Okay, all right,
AI can do very, yeah,
okay,
lots of things.
okay. So next, have you ever watched a show called Your Million? It comes on. It used to come on Nat Geo, and basically it talk about all these not science fiction, like science future stuff, like longer in the future, right?
Mm.
This one episode did a thing where the couple's daughter died, right?
Okay.
And the conversation was, do they upload the person's brain into an android?
The passed away
Yeah,
daughter's
and
brain
so
into it.
so basically they all science fiction stuff.
Okay.
They uploaded the consciousness, the brain, the
Mhm.
spirit, or what do you want to call it, from the person
Oh
into the
wow.
android. So
Wow.
android looked exactly the same, everything like that, right? Another episode was like where they uploaded, the person's brain into like the what's it called, the like you basically were like in a computer, right? In an interactive design, right?
Sounds like a Dark Mirror episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually it was, yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like kind of same lines, yeah. So do you think that's gonna ever happen for people like upload their consciousness into like like
Wow.
androids and like okay, you can be a quote unquote alive forever because you're uploading to the wasn't the internet but something else it was called, like yeah.
I think that's gonna take a long, long time.
Of course had all these
Um,
like, philosophical like discussions like this is a good thing, bad thing, like, do you really want to be alive forever,
yeah. Yeah, I personally don't want to be alive
Mhm.
forever. But the human brain has 86 billion neurons and they're all interconnected. Like one neuron is connected to so many different neurons. It's going to be not just computationally so expensive, but almost impossible to replicate that human consciousness into a machine. I wouldn't say impossible to anything because I'm very optimistic about most things, especially technological advancements. But I would say something like that would take such a long, long time. It's not.
But is it really gonna take a long time? Because I can't remember what it's called, but like basically, what's the term where like take advance like happens like on a different rate, like one times one plus two, like it keeps on
Mhm,
doubling, doubling,
mhm.
doubling.
So is that going to be the same as the complexity of the human brain? Because human brain is so complex. I mean, I say it's almost impossible because even neuroscientists today don't completely understand how the brain works. 86 billion neurons, there are different types of neurons and they interact
And
in a
when I even
different
talk about
way.
it's just the one brain. When you talk about billions of brains, each brain is different, right?
Exactly. And there's so much diversity between individuals. And if neuroscientists cannot even comprehend the brain, how the heck are we going to replicate that in a machine, replicate that consciousness? Yeah, what we believe that was true, like back in like 1950s when neuroscience field first came out, is not true anymore, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that, for example, like when we had like before we had the Hubble telescope, the stuff we didn't know about outer space. Then Hubble came along, no more information. Now James Webb, more information, right? Is
Right.
maybe bringing me the same way, like there's some tool hasn't been invented yet, or
Yeah,
something has been
I think
invented
so.
in the future, like somebody might, oh wow, it's we just do this, this, and this,
Right,
you know.
right. I'm counting on Elon Musk for all those things.
A lot of
Really.
people are, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That
But
guy's
Elon Musk,
crazy.
I never saw he gets so much like trash or hate, right, from different people, right? Like, people will
Why do
say,
people hate him?
I don't know, like they're like, like he's not doing this right, not doing this right. He just gets a lot of hate
Right.
sometimes, I
Yeah, he
think.
does. Yeah. And at the same time, like he runs like five different companies. I
Yeah.
don't know how I don't think he
He's
like
an alien. That's
knows.
all it is. He has to be an
I
alien.
don't think he knows like the deeper inner work that goes on in each company,
I don't know. Maybe he
honestly.
does. Maybe he does. I remember one time
Because there's no
a while ago
way
he was in an
that
interview with someone, and this is like he hit like a great week, right? Like, but I think it was the first time where the SpaceX actually came back and landed double rockets, without blowing up. Like everything that was like this, like the Tesla stock went up. Everything
hmm
was going
hmm
good, right?
hmm
And the guy said, Elon, you might this must have been a great week for you to be Elon Musk. Elon said, well, no, actually my life sucks. And he broke down like all the stuff he had to do, like all the
Oh
decision
my
making. He said,
gosh.
think about it. But the decision comes to me, it's unsolvable by anyone else, right? And so
Right.
all that stuff he broke down, like, time giving up, all that kind of stuff,
So do you think he's really doing it for humanity?
I want to say yes, hopefully so. And then again, part of me says he's doing it just like mine. Maybe he's doing like mine asteroid, Minosoft asteroids, to make trillions of dollars, right? I mean, who knows, right? I mean, like, I think
Yeah.
he is. I mean, he has more than enough money. I would think,
I
and
agree with that part. Yeah, he already has a lot of money. There's no
yeah,
need for him to.
even from before PayPal days, he was okay. Like I just, and he could be one of the people like some people just can't turn it off, right? Like
That is
people,
true.
like,
Yeah.
could you imagine?
Yeah.
I can't see a day where Elon Musk says, "I'm retiring," right? Do nothing, right? He's gonna work to the day he dies. I think, right? You think he's one of those type of people? I think he just like he's like he wants to solve our problem, and some
Solve the
people
earth
are like that.
problems. Yeah.
Some people want to work 9 to 5, and get
That
home, eat dinner, drink beer, and binge
yeah.
watch something, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's his purpose. He lives in a complete different wavelength, and I
Yeah.
think he has a very specific purpose.
Oh yeah.
I also know that, he didn't have the greatest childhood either.
Hmm.
And, his
Yeah.
father didn't believe in him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I would love to kind of pick his brain a bit, see what his mindset is, because
I
he's
know. I mean,
mm,
he's on a different level, right? I mean, he's just yeah.
yeah.
So they figure out how to go to Mars, and Elon Musk texts you and say, "Hey, this is really Elon Musk.
I'll go
I,
to Mars, yeah.
you'll go to Mars."
I'll go to Mars
Okay.
because I don't like interacting with humans
Okay.
that much,
I
but
mean, with that, you'll be able to like maybe a certain number of humans going there for like 2 years, I think,
just
and it'll be the same
social
humans.
distance.
Yeah.
But it'll be weird because you need to live in like a bubble
Yeah.
at in the beginning,
Mhm.
and you basically need to live in each other's like breath.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't. It'll be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um. So the company you co-founded is called Interactive Intelligence.
hmm hmm
And so how did that come? So is that just a like actual startup that you co-founded?
So it started as a student club, actually, but we gained a lot of popularity, followings, and people outside of the student organization, like actual companies and startups, were interested in us. So we're trying to make it an actual organization, a nonprofit organization, and kind of feed onto that.
And it's how many co-founders do you have?
I have him. There's a guy that's currently in Australia. His name is Chayton. We have Varun. We have about like five.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's definitely not a one person
so
thing, but I was the original person that started everything from complete scratch when there was like zero people involved.
so why so many co-founders? Because they always say have no more than three.
That's true. Yeah.
So why have so many?
I wouldn't I don't know the actual right now we're not like an actual organization. I wouldn't say that they are co-founders, but they are contributing to starting or co-founding a certain program within interactive intelligence. So the guys that started the NeuroAI course, which is an actual 9-week course, I would also say that they're co-founders, even though they didn't start the interactive intelligence
And so this
itself.
is gonna be, you said it's gonna be a nonprofit.
Yes,
So why nonprofit versus like a for-profit?
because nonprofit is for community
Mhm.
community building.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't actually file any paperwork yet, but we have a huge community right now, and we currently have about 84 students at the University of Washington that signed up to physically attend our weekly Neuro AI course. And outside of just Seattle location, we have locations in Michigan. I think there's one in UT Austin, one in Tsinghua University. So we have multiple universities that are also involved in our research and
So
course.
let's talk about how you built up this community. Like what are your like, tips to build a community?
So the community exposure is really, really nice. When I first started, I was cold emailing a bunch of professors from different universities. I probably sent hundreds and hundreds of emails and just not giving up, even though they probably either won't give a response or they will give a negative response. But despite that, we cling on to those people that do give a positive response, and they are very, very rare. But I would just say don't give up, even if you get a lot of negative responses from people. I, in the beginning, everything was a bunch of grunt work. I did basically all the like the janitorial work in the beginning.
So
Um,
how did your experience like doing freelance work help you with the startup, right? Like I'm guessing you were able to like do like a lot of stuff on your own versus hiring people out, right? So just talk about how that
yeah,
was an advantage to you.
the freelance work I did back when I was a runaway,
Yeah.
was back in the teenage. Yeah. Um,
I have to imagine that was some kind of advantage.
yeah, I
Being
mean,
able to
I
do
just
that.
had a lot of that gave me a lot of independence to begin with and a lot of confidence as well. The freelance work, everything was just based on me and me only. It was based on my performance. It was based on my interactions with the clients. It was based on everything was just based on solely me. So I think building up that trust within myself also gave me the confidence that I can also build an organization.
Okay.
Um,
And then talk about these weekly meetings y'all do, weekly events.
We have weekly journal clubs on Thursdays where we invite experts and professors or sometimes companies to come speak to our uh, students. And we usually call them the I2 talks, but it's synonymous to journal clubs. And then on Fridays, we have our weekly Neuro AI intro course. It's a certificate-based course where students need to complete a certain assignment and attend the actual lectures, which is also held by students. And at the end, they get a certificate signed by one of our advisors as
And
well.
so can only students go to this? So can
No,
anyone?
anyone, yeah. But
So like suppose there's some random dude off the street
oh,
listen to
Brandon,
this.
please come in. Yeah, as
Okay.
long as you don't harass
Do they have to
anybody.
like apply or sign up? How does that work?
Yeah, so this is a secret, but we have an 100% acceptance rate,
Okay.
but you still need to apply for it
Okay.
because we need to keep track of attendance and all that stuff. But we ask like a couple of questions like, why are you interested in this course? Blah, blah, blah. And some people write very thoughtful answers, and I really appreciate like those are the highlights. But regardless of what you write in those boxes, you're still going to get accepted and you're still invited to our course.
So I don't know if you tracked it, but I suppose like someone goes for the first time next week, right?
Mhm.
What's the chance of them like keep on going and going? Like people go one time, like, oh man, this is too much for me. They stop, or like how
It
much?
shouldn't be too much at all because
So people keep on coming back and coming back.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And usually, our quick contract is that you need to start from week one and not, you can't just start from the middle of the week
Okay.
because everything builds up on each other.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, we still welcome anyone to come join our lectures. And one of our main mission is to make the complex field between AI and neuroscience accessible to everybody so they make well-informed decisions.
And these are on the UW campus.
UW campus, but we also have recordings online, and we are also collaborating with different universities. And Cole and I recently gave an entire workshop in Intro to Artificial Intelligence to like 100 students online.
So
Um,
if someone goes to this for the first time, what should they expect to get out of it? I'm obviously not going to become an AI expert in one meeting, but what should they get out of it?
I think the main thing is community. There is a community full of other curious people that might also be concerned about AI, but we give that community. We also give a lot of support that most professors can't because, professors are usually busy and um, there's only one professor to like 200 students ratio. But for us, we have a lot of TAs. We have a lot of people on the leadership team that can, help guide the students. So the ratio between the students and then the leadership team is, very, very different from
And how many people usually go to these events, like on average?
84 students signed up
Okay.
weekly
Okay. So 84.
84 students signed up to complete the course. So every single week, 84 students come in
And how long is
weekly.
the course?
Just 1 hour.
Just
Just
one
1 hour
hour.
per week. And it's on a Friday night
And
too.
how many weeks?
Nine weeks, which is 1 quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. But I
And
mean,
after the 9 weeks, they use like some kind of certificate or something, or
yeah. They do get a certificate from one of our advisors, which is signed. But the entire thing is student ran.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what's also most impressive. It's student ran. And so the students really understand the difficulties of, academia and all that stuff. So they have a lot of empathy towards
So
students.
what's the youngest person and the oldest person in there?
I don't know much about age, but I do know that at UW, there are people from middle school
Okay.
that skip high school and they're part of this accelerator program.
Okay.
They're like 15 and then they
Okay.
start college. And we have a couple of those students
Is
in
there
that
like
club
an
as
age that
well.
would be too young for this? Like maybe like elementary school, middle school? There's like a like
I wouldn't say so.
okay.
No, no. And what we're trying to do is we're also trying to reach out to the K-12 environment as well soon. So we're trying to build a program for that as well. So I don't think anyone's too young to learn these things. And we're trying to refine our program so that it's more aligned with, ethical,
Uh,
societal
okay.
dimensions
Yeah, I
as
got some
well.
people to connect you with
Oh,
do like K
please.
12 stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are also recently invited by like Tesla STEM High School, if you know where that is, like Redmond High School, all the stuff. So we have a lot of places that we can do workshops in.
And so it's 9 weeks long. After 9 weeks, do you just start the whole process over again? Or was like a second part after the 9 weeks?
Pretty much start the whole process again, but then we also have a research branch where after those 9 weeks, you gain some knowledge and you can participate in some AI research. And you can like form groups with each other, like the community that you've already built, and then, start a research group. And um, this is all quite new, so I don't have anything too tangible to show you, but that Axon branch is trying to publish the research that's done by students
Okay.
and have our own like little publication program. And we're also connecting with companies and businesses that are practicing ethical AI so that they can also recruit some talent from our student pool.
Okay. And you actually did an event this last Thursday, right?
Yesterday? Wait, 2 days
Thursday, yeah,
ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
2 days ago, yeah.
Can you talk about that event that you did?
It was just a woman in tech event. I was invited to be on a panel. I was expecting you actually. It was
Def-
no, so no. It was, yeah, it was great. But Um, it was this whole formal event where the founders of this Women in Tech network flew out from the East Coast to come visit our events, and it we just talked about ethics in AI
Okay.
in general and diversity in AI, and I just mainly talked about women and underrepresented communities in the dominating AI society.
So how often you get invited like to speak at panels like that?
Not too often, actually. That was actually one of my first actual speaking panels. But a lot of the events like that, I just start on my own with the Interactive
Okay.
Intelligence organization.
All right.
But yeah, it was really fun. After the event though, I got to network with a bunch of people, and we are planning on more meetings soon,
Okay.
so we can collaborate, all that stuff.
All right. So also on your website it says we believe in a world where intelligence research is democratized,
Mhm.
transforming neuroscience and AI exploration into a universally accessible and collective endeavor.
Yeah,
That's a lot right there. Can you like
yeah.
break it down to like a dummies version, so to speak?
Well, as you know, artificial intelligence isn't the most accessible thing. It's being crafted by a certain demographic, a very narrow slice of humanity as for now. And even within the interactive intelligence group, I see so many young people interested in this field and they want to participate in it. And I feel like if we commit to being leaders in this educational field, our responsibility is to nurture this curiosity and ensure that all these young people also have a very diverse and inclusive environment to AI. Currently, if you do look into the demographics and statistics, it's not the most diverse environment. So I want to cultivate an environment where everyone's voices are heard, because currently, it's not. And I think that failing to prioritize the diversity would not only be a missed opportunity for better solutions, but we'd also risk letting down a very passionate, brilliant, intelligent group of young people that really want to make a difference in this field.
And so neuroscience machine learning is actually started in the 50s.
Started in the
Yeah.
50s? That that is that is quite debatable.
Yeah. So when did it start?
I think around 60s is
60s.
well, so we actually interviewed one of those people that started computational neuroscience, which is the intersection between neuroscience and AI. And I think he was born after World War II.
Okay.
That was when, like 1939 or
Yeah.
something. And he started getting into this when he was 16. So
So you're saying
yeah,
someone
19
16 invented like not invented like
he didn't invent it.
but
So
I
he
kind of
started that education in the psychology field. So we interviewed a man named Steve Grossberg.
you
Um,
ready for a refill?
sure. I mean, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah. Which one
Yeah.
you want to try next?
I have no idea which I don't know anything about alcohol.
Just
I
for
just drink whatever people give to
So we
me.
try this one next. This is like
Okay.
a wooden wheel whiskey.
Oh, cool. Oh, local. Do you usually go to like local wineries and local?
Sometimes I do. Just depends.
That's
That's how to
very
eat for
cool.
yourself because
Okay. I don't. Cool. Do you want some? Okay. I would like for him to talk as he's the AI
we have
person.
to have him come on next time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What are you gonna do after this?
I would just do some work.
What's work for you?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Like do some podcast stuff, like do some stuff with my HR tech company. We
Mm-hmm.
just did a beta testing, like trying to like do fundraising and like, basically I call it begging for money, right?
Really? What?
Yeah. And then next week I'm for next week it's Tacoma Startup Week, so I'm hosting two panels for that next
I
Friday.
really wanted to go.
Yeah.
But next week is like this I don't know how to say it, COSM conference.
Mhm.
Do you know like Wolfram Alpha, Lambda, all that? Well, the founders of those really big companies are visiting, and I have a ticket and all that
It's
stuff.
like all week long or
Wednesday through Friday. When is the Tacoma event?
so my stuff is Friday.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm doing one panel on startup founders. It's not all unicorns and rainbows.
Wait, could you tell me what time on Friday? Oh,
One's at 10 and one's at 2.
oh shoot. Yeah. My thing is at like 1 p.m. So
Okay.
if it was in the evening, I could go, but
no worries.
no, I really do want it to go. Yeah.
So, but regardless when it started, this is pretty much a new discipline, right? It's not like this has been around since the 1800s. The neuroscience, right? Yeah, it's pretty new. Yeah, it's pretty new discipline, right?
It's a pretty new discipline, and that's why even I can't explain too much about it. Even the people that are in computational neuroscience right now are, always learning something new about it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So with the neuroscience, machine learning, AI, are those like all kind of same things, different disciplines? They all like play together, so to speak, or like, can you be like a neuroscience, expert, but not be an AI expert?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what most people are. They're only in the neuroscience domain. And most people in the neuroscience domain, they do wet lab stuff. What I talked about earlier, usually work with mice, and cut their brains, and then just they used to hand count all of those cells on a mouse brain. Like they would stain it and then they would image it and then hand count all the cells. But nowadays, AI can kind of do that for you. Yeah. Machine learning can do that for you, but it's still a domain that a lot of older neuroscientists people are not too familiar with. But I think there's so much potential when you integrate those two. Just not artificial intelligence specifically, but computational.
So you talk about like the mouse neurons and stuff. So obviously we don't do this. Well, hopefully we don't do it with like live humans, right?
We do.
We do.
Yeah. Well, not
what?
humans are alive, but they sign a contract and they donate their brain after.
So like
post-mortem human brains.
Okay, but they're not alive, right?
No. Were you asking me?
Yeah, they're alive.
No.
So like we don't say. So they're not. So there's no like thing like how you go do like a drug trial and like I'll give me $500 and I'll put this drug in my body. There's no like, hey, give me $500 and open my brain up.
This isn't 1920s anymore. Yeah, they probably did that back in the days.
So not a lot of people, but you say they do it like like when someone passes, they sign a contract. Like use my brain for research or something.
Yes, definitely. But then you can't be like dead. You have to be.
So you're still alive taking shit.
No.
What?
Like 95%.
Okay. So how is that determined?
Well, I'm not very much of an expert in that system of like how, but I'm currently working on
like Jason's 91% dead. Let's round up to 95.
That's what they're signing for, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what the contract is about. But they're willingly donating their brains to science.
Yeah.
And not we, but like the people in science need the brain when it's still fresh.
I know a lot of football players, like, they donate their brains, like CTE, whatever it's called. Yeah, a lot of football players, like, they have obviously concussions and stuff, and so they donate their brains. A lot of football players.
Are they dead or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They die, yeah. A lot of football players, they died like in the 50s, like 20 years less because of all concussions and stuff. So a lot of like give up their brain for the research and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But we currently at the Allen Institute, I'm currently working on Alzheimer's disease specifically. So within the Alzheimer's department, there are currently 84 donors that 84 is the same number of my interactive intelligence.
You noticed that too, right?
Yeah, I just figured that out. But there are currently 84 donors that donated their brains that used to have Alzheimer's.
Okay.
So we're looking at the brains with Alzheimer's, and then they signed a contract to donate their brain post-mortem to the institute. And I am the one that's analyzing all the data of actual human brains.
So do you analyze the brain itself or just the data?
Just the data, yeah. There's an entire...
you don't get to look at the 84 brains.
I hope I wish I could, but I'm not the one.
So when people like donate these brains, whatever, has there been a chance, circumstance where like Michael Jones donates his brain to whatever, right? And after the fact, Michael Jones' wife or mother or something comes along like, no, you can't have my son's brain.
There's no way, because the son himself signed the contract.
What if they said my son was under duress, my son was like incapacitated?
Yeah, well, then we need a lawyer because the son
never happened. As far as you know.
As far as I know, I don't think so. I mean, that it doesn't really make sense though, right?
I mean, it could like
it's the son that signed the
yeah. If you think
contract
your
itself.
mother or father, you're like, man, you know, they might think, you're gonna like, what's looking for like violate my son's
Mhm.
integrity, my brains or my son's brains and stuff. You know, maybe it's religious reasons. I don't know. I'm just making stuff
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that if that was the case, they would have prevented the son when he was alive from
Maybe,
signing that
well,
contract.
maybe he has some Janna Kangan in it. Hidden behind it. And
I don't
planned it.
know. Yeah,
Planned it. You know.
yeah. I have no idea, but
Okay. All right. This one.
yeah. Would you donate your brain to science?
No one wants my brain.
Oh, no, come on.
No one
No,
wants my
wait,
brain.
wait. Why do you say that?
So with Alzheimer's, there's no cure for that, right?
I wouldn't say that.
No.
No, I mean,
Do we know the cause of it? And
no, we don't know the cause of it. I
Alzheimer's and
would
dementia, are
say
those two different things? Are they kind of the same family
Alzheimer's
disease?
is under the umbrella of
Okay,
dementia,
all right.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely a brain memory loss disease. But that's what we're trying to figure out. What's like the cause of it? What are the biomarkers that impact it? Why is it increasing? So far, people thought that Alzheimer's happened because there's a pathological marker called the tau protein, and um, the amyloid proteins are increasing as we age, and that's the one that disrupts the memory function in our system. But it doesn't make 100% sense because there are people that are completely healthy with a high amount of amyloid and tau proteins that do not have any Alzheimer's. So, how do we explain that? We don't know. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just counting all the tau proteins and all those biomarkers that contribute to Alzheimer's, and I'm building like a pseudo time to see the different
Talk about that. I
stages.
know they show pictures like all the time, like like a brain with a non-Alzheimer's disease and a brain
Mhm.
with Alzheimer's, like they look completely different, right?
I'd say the brain with Alzheimer's are definitely like they're shrunken,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely smaller. I don't see the scans itself. What I see is columns of data, like
Okay.
2,000 columns of just an Excel spreadsheet is what I see. I don't actually get to see the MRI scans or anything like that, but I do know that their brains are shrunken, and most scientists believe that there's something going on in the hippocampus region,
Okay.
in Alzheimer's that impact that.
And I know they
But
say, well,
it's mysterious, so mysterious.
I
Yeah.
know they used to say, or maybe they still say, like, like you're more active you are, the less chance of getting Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
But I know
yeah.
recently there's some world famous actors like really active all the time. He came down with Alzheimer's. Can't think of his name.
Yeah, I
Like this
there's so
guy's,
many
he's like super active. It's
right.
like, okay, maybe that's not true. Maybe it doesn't matter how active or inactive you are.
Yeah,
Maybe it's genetics or maybe
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it could be genetics. It also depends on how much sleep you get, I think. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, so I can't say for sure, but there's so many
But I'm
lifestyle
pretty sure
factors that
I'm pretty sure your educator's guess is better than most people's though.
my educated guess is just based on, all the general stereotypical healthy habits will keep you disease free. And they're definitely just, exercise well, sleep
Well,
well, eat well. Just keep, there's such simple things that are just really hard to keep up with
I've heard
for
that too.
most
I've heard
people.
that too. We talk about sleep. I heard from several places before, like a lot of people like they like pride themselves only sleep 4 hours a day, 5 hours a
Oh,
day.
wow. No
But
way.
I've
Yeah.
heard somewhere like the studies actually proven like that actually like enhances Alzheimer's or something like that.
Definitely. Yeah. Lack of sleep definitely enhances, I wouldn't conclude with Alzheimer's, but it definitely enhances memory loss problems. But some people have like a baseline
Yeah.
for how many hours of sleep that they can get. And I think the baseline is different for everybody. Sometimes for me, even if I sleep 8 hours, I still feel tired.
Yeah.
So my baseline is probably like 9 hours of sleep per night. I
Yeah.
don't know what your baseline is.
And mine's
But
like 7, 8. Like for me, like I'm worse off if I sleep like 12 hours than if I only sleep 5 hours.
oh,
If I
really?
get like 5 hours
Yeah.
sleep, I'm done. Like I'm useless the
How
next
would you
day.
sleep 12 hours? When do you get to sleep? Is that even possible?
I do it once in a
Okay.
while. Yeah. It's like you're so tired.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you don't set an alarm or nothing right. I mean, it rarely happens, but like
You don't
of
wake
course,
up in the middle?
uh, sometimes
Wow.
I do. But
Wow.
if I get like more than 10 hours sleep, I'm better off getting 4 hours sleep versus that many sleep. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever slept more than 10 hours. Yeah, especially in school, I would sleep like 5 hours and be a zombie all day long.
So this is gonna be like kind of a curveball question, and you may or may not know the answer, but this one again, I'm sure your educator's guess is better than anyone's. How do you think like cannabis or CBD affects Alzheimer's or improves or disproves or whatever
I think they're worse for memory.
Mhm.
Cannabis is known to decrease your memory functions. Um, I just know that a lot of these drugs have not been extensively studied
Mhm.
in terms of neuroscience as well, but they do use it for therapeutic reasons. I don't blame anyone for that, but I just know that they disrupt their memory functions, especially short-term memory as well. Um, but it could be good for people with a lot of anxiety that needs to,
Okay.
have it for
Are there any
yeah.
studies on that, like cannabis, how it affects Alzheimer's or dementia, anything like that? Or
Not specifically about Alzheimer's. Why don't we just like look it up right now?
yeah,
Yeah. But it's an Alzheimer's. I mean, most of the studies do say that the long-term use of cannabis is harmful to
okay,
memory problems.
okay.
Alzheimer's is directly with memory.
All right. So next, so is Seattle like a known, like we'll say AI, ML,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
neuroscience hub,
Oh,
so to
yeah.
speak?
Seattle is the hub for neuroscience and AI for
Are
sure.
there any other hubs around the world? Like or
Um,
is Seattle the place to be?
well, I would definitely say, there's places like California, all the very central hubs like New York
Mhm.
and California. But when I was actually looking for my PhD in a different country like Europe, all of my advisors prevented me from doing science research in a different country because there is no other place that has better funding than the United States,
Okay.
better science funding. So if you're going to stay in science and do science research, you need to stay in the US.
And
At
specifically get
least
your way to Seattle some kind of way.
I think Seattle is a good place, but I still want to kind of travel the world and move around. I don't mind being in the UK and doing research there. Um, I do know some people at the Max Planck Institute in Germany. That's a place for neuroscience and also computational stuff. But I would say Seattle is a really good place.
Okay.
And we actually, the University of Washington itself flew people from France to join this like NCC conference and so on. So it is a pretty big hub. And you've been to GeekWire,
Yeah.
where all those, yeah, yeah. They're always posting about how Seattle is like the hub for tech.
Yeah.
But I know so many people that say there's nothing to do in Seattle. Why go to Seattle? Blah blah blah. So yeah,
So
I
what
don't.
is an artificial neuron?
I I cannot talk much about it. Artificial neuron. Are we talking about like those little nodes? Or
However you want to define it.
yeah, artificial neuron. I don't know why they call it a neuron to begin with because they don't act like a neuron at all. If we're talking about like the weights and biases
Yeah, it
that
says
connect.
an artificial neuron commonly referred to as a perceptron.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely I think cool. Perceptron is oh my gosh, I need to refresh my memory. I can't do it while I'm yeah, I need to look this up.
No worries.
Sorry. I don't have enough knowledge to explain the perceptron algorithm. But it's definitely all based on mathematics and all the weights and biases and so on. But yeah, it's one of the fundamentals of machine learning for sure,
So what
and
is your
supervised
goal
learning.
for your this nonprofit?
The goal for the nonprofit, so the main mission, the main reason we started was to help people make well-informed decisions in the realm of artificial intelligence and neuroscience. Um, as I mentioned earlier, we want to know what intelligence is in all its forms. We want to decode how not just humans, but how do machines learn? How do machines um, evolve and perceive things, and compare that to humans and intelligence. So we're just learning about intelligence, and at the same time, helping make this feel more accessible to the society as a whole.
So earlier you said you would not vote for President AI, but
I probably wouldn't vote for a
I have
president
said that
AI.
like what level, what level, how complex decisions should we let AI make for us? Like, should we make like AI like schedule or like dental appointments for us? Should we make them like schedule like really important decisions? Like, what level of trust we put in AI to make like more and more complex decisions for us?
How much trust I put in it?
Yeah. What level of complexity should we like say, okay, AI, like make this decision for me, or
No, I wouldn't trust AI currently at all.
how about in the future?
In the future, if AI becomes more diverse, I think it in certain dimensions it can be much more intelligent than the human being itself, because it learns very, very fast. But yeah, that's a very difficult question. I don't have, first of all, I don't have enough expertise in the very like intricate systems of the AI. I can't really answer that question. But I just know that I'm much more optimistic than before, because I talked to a lot of experts and professors in the field, and they really broaden my perspective in the ethical dimensions of AI. But I would never ever trust an AI blindly. Yeah, for sure. And I don't think anyone should trust it blindly. I think people should be critical, and they should question what the AI is spitting out at all times.
So obviously, I don't think it's the same thing, but a lot of people now, including myself, who wake up in the morning like me, I come to work here, I'll say, Alexa, what's my flash briefing for the day? Or Alexa,
Oh, you have
what's
an
that right?
Alexa. Okay.
Yeah, like, do you think we'll get that level of trust AI? I mean,
What do you ask Alexa
like,
again?
so I have like a flash briefing. I do like I listen to different podcasts and news things, or Alexa, Alexa, what's the weather today? Or
For those
Alexa, stop.
for those things, I think it's pretty good. Like just asking the weather,
Yeah.
those. But if you're asking like very deep CIA
Mhm.
questions, it's probably not gonna. Do you trust your Alexa? Like, do you think it's constantly listening to you?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
Like,
listening to me.
yeah,
There's no doubt. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's why you shouldn't talk to yourself when no one's around, because it's gonna read your thoughts.
yeah, definitely. You know what? That's actually is AI going to do that? Read our thoughts?
I think so. Yeah, it
Yeah,
could be. Yeah. I mean, I think my laptop is reading my thoughts
yeah.
based on all of my Google searches. That's why I paused all of my history, YouTube history, Google history, because I don't want other people to look into my thoughts. And even when I'm in a Google Doc and I'm just writing things, I feel like people can read my thoughts, even in just a collaborative
Yeah, I know
Google
they say
Doc,
they
right?
track like keyboard clicks and like
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't like. You know what's so funny? I got some kind of like skin peeling thing during the winter time, so my fingerprint doesn't work for yeah, for the MacBook anymore. But it's so annoying because I want my fingerprint to work. I want them to take my data, my fingerprint data and all that. But yeah, I've got dry fingers now. So
So next, talk about you have a nonprofit, right? So do you consider yourself an entrepreneur, a startup founder, a nonprofit
I think so.
person?
Yeah, 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 pretty much.
Okay.
We're about to be officially that, but when we started as a student organization, I was doing every like, the grunt work, the
Mhm.
janitorial work.
Yeah. So I joke around sometimes, like, how like you put on your signature, well, like Jason Cabinet CEO founder. It should be Jason Cabinet CEO founder, data entry clerk, janitor person,
Exactly.
like
Exactly. Yeah.
SEO
I was
expert,
doing everything
Yeah.
alone, everything alone in the beginning. Yeah, it was a very gruesome period. Yeah, but
So what made you start this nonprofit?
Um, what made me start this nonprofit? That's another good question. I mean, so first of all, artificial intelligence is dominating society. So obviously I was interested in it. Um, when I was in the neuroscience major, I was not going into the conventional mid track field. So I still needed to find out where I was going in terms of career. And uh, I saw like a newsletter saying that there's going to be a new club opening up, and it wasn't a club that was opened yet, but it was like a pre-club, and um a guy named Chayton sent that newsletter to my neuroscience department. I read that and I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And Chayton and I gathered up together, and then we just started this neuroscience and AI organization. And I thought that was like the perfect intersection because AI is also very dominant in today's society, and I was also already interested in neuroscience. So I thought that was a perfect blend for where I wanted to go in the future as well.
And how long you been doing this nonprofit?
Just like so it was like right after COVID. I think it started like less than 2 years ago,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah. So it's pretty new, but
Have
very,
you
very
made,
popular.
like, from your point of view, have you made enough progress? Or you
Oh, definitely so much progress. In the
Are you happy
beginning,
with the progress you've made?
yeah, in the beginning, we didn't know what we were doing, so people just kept leaving. You're like, what the heck is this? And people kept leaving, but now we have like 84 students that are committed. So
And the 84 students, they have to pay for anything? Or it's all
no,
free?
no, not at all. No.
Is the plan like do a paid thing later on?
No. We're trying to lower the barrier.
Okay.
Well, that is our main mission. We're trying to make this entire complexity accessible to anyone that's curious and determined enough.
So have y'all gotten any grants or anything? Obviously, y'all
Oh,
available.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. In like less than the first year, we got like $26,000
Okay.
from the university.
Okay.
And we use that to buy tensor books and MacBooks, but I don't think that's getting used
Is
right
the
now.
plan for this like be y'all's full-time job in the future? Like all you do is like this,
Yes,
like
pretty much.
get grants or fundraising or
Pretty
basically to
much.
have people.
Yeah,
Obviously, like your time's valuable, and
exactly.
you can't,
Exactly.
like I said, you can't do this pro bono, right?
No, so we're trying to make personalized courses for different organizations and people, and that's going to take a lot of time from us, right? So we're about to ask for that compensation for time. Um, but we're trying to make it, that's exactly where we're heading right now. Before this, everything was done for absolute free. Yeah. So we're just students just putting in a ton of our
Yeah.
free time into making these courses and this organization possible. But in the future we're trying to make it into an actual business.
Is a plan like how like nonprofits like at every university or every city or like have you thought that far?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a branch called I2 Labs where we're replicating this entire course into different universities. And we currently have one in U Michigan. And also we're collaborating with Tsinghua University and UT Austin, and that it's just starting out. So we're trying to replicate it in different universities.
So what's the process of deciding like on UT Austin versus Louisiana State or somewhere else? Like what's the process like deciding what university to reach out to?
We just need to contact one of the other club founders, like a data science club
I'm
president.
I'm guessing like the university has to have like
that.
an AI. I'm guessing the university
Yes, of course,
they
yeah.
have no AI that's not going to reach out to them.
No, I mean most universities do have something AI related, but they don't have an actual course like ours at University of Washington. I don't think there's any university or any system that runs the course like ours so far. So we're like at the cutting edge.
And so for the course, like, are you an instructor, your co-founder's an instructor? Like, who are the actual instructors?
There's so many people that contributed to making the course, and most of them are TAs. And that's possible because we're only talking about very introductional,
Okay.
fundamental things, right?
And then how do you like so-called vet these instructors, right? They have to take a test. Like how you make sure they're
No,
qualified?
they've already been through one of our courses already, and they've demonstrated their competence, and they've turned in all their assignments on time, and now they're the ones that are teaching. So we each single week we have a different like lecturer, I guess, but they're all students and they all lecture based on what they think is appropriate.
Okay.
And they create all the PowerPoints and all that stuff for the students.
So go back to like when you first had this idea, it's nonprofit, right? What's something like back then you like really struggled with, right? Like, man, I can't figure this out. But now you think back, like, well, how was that hard to me? That was so easy.
No, no, there's nothing that was easy for me, honestly. Yeah, I was crying every single night. There was nothing easy for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
I-
Okay. So who
yeah,
who do you consider your mentors?
that's a good question. I think most of my mentors are just random books. Yeah, random philosophical books. That's a good question because whenever I interact with people, I usually get the positive sides from
Yeah.
them, and then I try to mimic that. I would say Cole is literally my mentor. I mean, Cole, he's one of the co-founders of Interactive Intelligence Axon branch, and he was literally a professor back in Massachusetts. Yeah, so I follow his guidance a lot. And I follow a lot of people that have been experienced in this industry for a long time. But I wouldn't say there's like one specific mentor, but I would say that I try to uh just you know get gain like whatever positive attributes an individual has.
Okay. So follow-up question: who are you mentoring?
I would I think like the mentees should speak for themselves, but I'm actually a graduate from the university, so I just graduated university, and I would say that I would be mentoring the students back in the university.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also used to be an RA, so I was mentoring also a bunch of students in the dorm that were depressed. So you know what I mean? Yeah, my
Yeah.
my dorm was a very, Seattle was a depressing city because it's very cold and gray.
Yeah. What's
But
called sad, something like that, seasonal, something
yeah,
depressing. Yeah.
definitely. No,
It's a
that
real thing.
exists. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real thing.
And most of the people in my dorm were like liberal arts major, English major people that were quite depressed. So
Yeah. Here's one for you. So you just recently graduated from college. From your point of view, what is the purpose of college? Is the purpose of college like make someone smarter, to make them think? Is it to find them a job? Like, and the reason I ask because like stats show like since the 70s, in college increased like 10,000% tuition.
mhm.
But the increase in salaries is not kept pace. Like, so what is the purpose of college?
At least for me, it's just the expansion of opportunities. If you don't go to college, you don't know all the opportunities that exist currently. But that's what college kind of does. It connects you to so many career fairs and so many professors, and it's very likely that the professors will not respond to you if you're not a student from their classroom. So you just get access to so many resources in general. And I was originally not planning on going to college at all, but I don't regret it. I completely, uh, I'm happy that I went to college
So you had a good,
because I have all these resources and platforms
you had a
and
good experience
everything.
at University of Washington.
Yeah, I
Loaded
would
question.
say, yeah. Yep. I guess so. I mean, I was able to build this organization
Yeah.
as well. So yes, yes. And I met so many people from my community. Yeah, very, very much so.
What advice you have for someone out there like wants either start a company, start a nonprofit? They want to, they have an idea, they want to start something, right? What's
Just
your
don't give
advice?
up. Yeah, that's my only advice. In the beginning, we had nothing, literally nothing. No students. People kept on leaving because we didn't know what we were doing, but that itself is a learning experience. Um, I would say even if you cold email a bunch of people, they're not going to respond positively, especially if you're like a startup and have no backup.
Even they say no, it's like, are you gonna die?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so.
exactly, exactly. I cold emailed like hundreds of people in my life.
So what's your process of doing cold email? You just like got a list of names and
Yeah,
like,
yeah, basically lots of research as well.
mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah,
So
but
you got to personalize it, which it takes time.
I have an entire list. Yeah. A very huge list. And only about like 3% respond actually. But even that's still useful. So just keep on building up on the network.
So the cold email list, like, how often do you follow up? Like, you sent one email and that was it. You like 3, 4, 5. Like, how do you decide like when to stop following or not?
Just one email, and then there are like 3% of the people that do actually respond, and then just keep on building up.
Okay, so once you send one email, no reply, you just took them off the list.
Oh, of course, yeah. But it's not their fault at all. They're just busy, right?
Yeah. Or so they say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that's fine.
All right.
So I'll just say don't give up, no matter what.
Okay. So you've been doing this for like 2 years. Is anyone been around for the whole 2 years? Like any like student, like still part of the community? Like what's the oldest? I don't know, like who's been around the longest, so to speak, as far as like people in the course or whatever you want to call it.
I would say the people that join in within like the first 3 months are still here with us today. Yeah. And they're the ones that are leading a big portion of our course. So I'm very grateful for them. But yeah.
And for the instructors, you have planned events like pay them too, like paid.
Everything is volunteering so far, but that's exactly what we're trying to do now. We're trying to pay them now because it takes so much of their own free time to make these courses and instruct and everything.
But for every hour course, I have to imagine like how many hours is it for them like prepare? Like I don't know, like 10 hours to prepare or prep or whatever. I have no idea.
I would say about like 10 hours per week. Yeah.
They do something.
Yeah, exactly. But for the leaders, it might take a lot more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything on your website you want to go over?
Right now, it's still in progress. It's very much in progress. I have my co-founder, also Nick Kesey, that created this entire design right now. So every design you find on our website is handcrafted by my fellow neuroscience major student that is also very interested in art, Nick Kesey. So we're both collaborating right now to construct our.
And you have a YouTube channel too. Anything on your YouTube channel you want to share or go?
Oh, we upload all of our lectures, at least starting from fall quarter, into our YouTube channel. So we have this. Of course, everything is student led for now.
And the YouTube channel, I'll put it on the show notes, but it's just Interactive Intelligence UW.
Yep. I drink so much of this. I need to use the restroom. That's you.
All right. You need to use your bathroom?
No. You can go over if you want. Okay. Let's go over that.
You want to go this deep learning thing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can go over to like 10 minutes or something. Yeah. That's Varun. He was also one of the first people to join my organization, but he's joined like 2 months in probably. And in the beginning, I think he was a little bit skeptical about our organization, but now he's leading it. So that's very good to see.
There's a good one for you. Like, do you do any like public speaking training? Like someone wants to be a instructor that they're not confident in public speaking. You're like,
no, but they're so good at public speaking originally. Like I'm like so impressed by them.
But for someone who isn't.
Yeah. We're trying to also train the new TAs and leadership team with all the new leadership skills and public speaking. And I don't know if you're familiar with the computer science personality, but they're very antisocial.
Yeah, being like in some dorm room coding with boxes of pizza,
curved spine and all that. But you
said the curved spine.
Yes,
I haven't heard that one before. I haven't heard the curved spine one before. No.
You're on the laptop every hour. But Varun, he's the computer science major, but he's not like that at all. I mean, we try to go through a leadership training. And this entire public speaking training for all the new leadership team. And so far they're doing incredible. So
what's a skill you have that you think like you're really good at?
I'm really good at?
Yeah, like
just the grunt work, I guess. Grunt work, just behind the scenes work.
What's the skill you think you need to work on?
Skill that I need to work on.
And you can't say everything. It has to be some.
I mean, there's so many things that I can improve on right now, but I would say managing my time because I do have, two jobs and also interactive intelligence. And, uh, as I said in the very beginning, I don't do much with my free time besides just stay in my bed
Yeah.
and watch Netflix. So
Okay.
I need to do something more productive with my time. Yeah.
What shows you watching on Netflix right now?
Just a bunch of random, like one time
Random things.
shows. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't watch an entire series because if I start a series, I have to finish the entire series in one night.
Yeah,
And
I recently I'm like me. I'm always late to TV shows.
yeah, me too.
Like
Me
I started
too.
watching Big Bang Theory like at season 7. Um, last month I binge watched Game of Thrones like
Yeah.
3 weeks. I'd never watched
Yeah.
it before. I
Oh
saw the
my
clips. I binge
goodness.
watched Game
Yeah.
of Thrones. Yeah,
Are you the type of person that has to finish an entire
yeah,
series? Yeah, me too. That's why I can't start a
yeah,
series. I need to watch like a 1 hour movie or something. I can't start a series because I have
yeah.
to finish
I
it
just
like
finished it.
on the
Yeah,
spot. So
yeah. Unless like you watch a couple shows, like man, this totally sucks, then I'll stop.
yeah,
But like
exactly.
this kind
Exactly.
of interest. Okay, like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this
So
they do that right. They put the hooks in there and the
mhm.
cliffhangers and that kind of
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, yeah.
Do you see me use the bathroom?
Sure,
So
sure.
I have him come talk with me for a couple of
Oh,
months.
please, please. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let Cole talk.
So it's one of
I
these.
think the bathroom's open.
No, it's one of these two keys here. It's like right here.
Yes.
All right. So this is Janna's co-founder, Cole.
Hello.
Hello. What's your last name?
My last name is Smith.
Yes. Okay. So tell us about your background.
Mine is not nearly as interesting as Janna's. But I grew up in a small town of Massachusetts.
Okay.
I went to a fairly traditional, um, elementary, middle, high school experience. Got pushed into the track for college. Originally, though, I wanted to be a chemist. My whole life, I had people tell me, "Oh, you should do computer science. Oh, you should do computer science." And I was like, "No, hate it." I didn't hate it. I just didn't like people telling me what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
And so then I started flunking out of chemistry, which is really sad because I still like it. But as I was flunking out of chemistry, they made you take an intro to CS class. I was doing well in that one. So I swapped over and then COVID hit. So I got my master's and now I'm here.
So how long you been in Seattle?
I've been in Seattle for since May 1st of 2021.
So
it's
pretty
been,
recent.
yeah,
Why come to Seattle?
Microsoft was my employer.
Okay, that's a pretty damn good reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good reason. Yeah. I know you still with Microsoft.
I am not. I
Okay.
left this March and I
Okay.
moved to a new company called Stackline.
Okay. Is that a startup or is it another big company?
It's certainly not Microsoft. I would say they've moved just beyond the startup phase. So they did their Series B funding, I think maybe a year ago or so.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that, but
All right. And so you're like an AI ML person.
yeah. So my title is I'm a ML engineer.
So what got you interested in that? Like,
Yeah, so I'm really interested in data science. I'm really interested in like, the machine learning. I like watching a little, piece of code you have, it's almost in like a parental way where you watch it and you watch it get better and it solves the task
Yeah.
better. And that was really cool. But I suck at the math.
Yeah.
And so there's effectively two tracks in machine learning. There's the, math track and the CS track. And Janna touched on this earlier. The data science, the math track has you developing new techniques, right? If we compare this to the medieval days of forging metal, right? You can either be the people that figure out how to new ways to forge metal, or people that take that and figure out how to use that to make a sword. So I would fall in the latter camp.
Yeah. Okay.
Back.
Cool. Yeah, we definitely have you come on for real.
Oh, I would be honest.
No, let's switch up. Yeah, he's gonna come on. He's gonna do his own episode later. So I don't know if the microphone does it like that or not.
I thought
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
This is really strong.
what was it?
Yes. I like the Woodinville one though.
You like the Woodinville?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You should try. They're all brown. Same color. It seems like you like. It seems like you like the bourbon and whiskey stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You like the straw liquor? You see, I finished like three shots of liquor or something.
Yeah, you're a champ. Okay.
I am.
So
You need to finish yours.
yeah, I need to catch up. So what's you're an entrepreneur. What's something about being an entrepreneur that you were not expecting?
That I was not expecting. I don't know. I was expecting it to be this hard. Yeah. So I was expecting all the downhill.
You're expecting everything to be unicorns and rainbows and peachy keen.
I just knew that it wouldn't be all rainbows for sure, but it's incredibly difficult to connect with people and have them on the same page.
Yeah.
You have like a very solid mission and you believe that this mission is worth pursuing, but not everybody is on the same page at all.
Yeah.
They're all living their own lives, which is totally fine. But when we're first starting something like this out, you would expect people to be on the same page and put some effort into like this entire mission, statement, purpose, and all that, but people just don't care.
So I have a saying, like I like to say, like sometimes I crush it, but most times it crushes me, right? And so when the time when you're getting crushed by everything, how do you keep on going? Like things are going bad, nothing's going right. How do you show resiliency, so to speak?
Resiliency, I feel like that's how I've been since I was a little kid. So I come from a very different uprising than most people, I feel like. With my parents and all that stuff. So even when I, ran away from my house, every day was like a survival mode. Every day was like, oh, today's going to be the last day that I live, probably. So I had that mindset for a very long time, and I don't really think about, too far into the future.
Okay. What would have to happen for you, to quit your two jobs and do this nonprofit full time?
If you get enough funding.
Okay.
Yeah. If it can be sustainable.
Is enough funding to pay everyone for 1 year, pay one for 2 years? Like
it has to be sustainable for a certain amount of years. And we need to see some future within it for sure.
And from your point of view, suppose the people, what's your metric for success, right? Is the people graduate, get a job, or is what's your metric for success?
That's exactly what we're trying to do. I graduated from university, so I'm no longer part of the student organization branch of interactive intelligence. But what I'm trying to do is trying to bridge the gap between the student organization and the corporate businesses that are trying to recruit some talent. And there's like hundreds and thousands of AI companies out there. But we would have to hand select a very couple of them that aligns with our mission and aligns with ethical values to connect them with our student talent. And our student talent is very unique because they go through all the courses and they're very dedicated, committed students that are interested in the ethical dimensions of AI.
Don't say the names, but is there anyone at the university who's not really supportive of you? Are they
not supportive of me?
Yeah.
I would say no. They're all supportive of me.
Okay.
Yeah, they're.
Everyone's saying don't do this. This is a job at the university. That kind of stuff.
I would say they're all really supportive. I mean, this is a very new field. We're the only NeuroAI organization at UW, and that's why we're collaborating directly with other computational neuroscience organizations and so on. I would say they're super supportive, and that's what's making it possible.
Are there certain characteristics or values that a good AI person should have?
You need to be very inclusive and have a very need to know how to make an inclusive environment, because currently the AI is being shaped by a very certain educational mold and demographics. So I would say the most common demographic for AI practitioner is like a white guy in higher education, right? I'm not, but if you see like an underrepresented or some minority, you need to make them feel like that their voices are welcomed and so on. So I would say be a little bit more self-aware of how you're interacting with the community itself.
All right, you kind of missed this earlier, like like having access to stuff. So obviously, if you're in Seattle, it's a big AI place, right? A lot of access,
Mhm.
whatever. But how do you make sure, like, we'll say, I'll make this town up, like, we'll say, um, Jonesville, Missouri, with a population of 22,000 people.
Yeah,
How do you make sure like these places have access to all this?
exactly. Yeah, that's why we need to actively reach out to those populations as well. Right now, we're just focused on Seattle because that's where I'm physically
Mhm.
in right now. But my goal is to also connect with those people that are just far away. And when we try to connect with, are you familiar with Ignite?
I think so.
Ignite Worldwide. So they
Sounds
partner with
familiar.
high schools that are usually like way far off, like in Yakima or
Mhm.
something like that. And they bring girls from those cities to organizations like I2 and help them learn about new technologies and so on and career fairs.
And so do you have a
We
plan
try
like
to, yeah, we're
like
trying to
the
collaborate with those organizations specifically that try to democratize technology and so on. The only thing was when we try to collaborate with I2, collaborate with Ignite, for example, we had to provide lunch for the students and we didn't have money at that time
yeah,
to do that. But everything is just in progress right now. We're
okay.
gaining money to also reach out to those high school students that usually don't have access to those things.
Like suppose you reach out to like we'll say like Jonesville, Missouri, right?
Mhm.
And they come back and say, this all this AI stuff, that's for the big city stuff. Down here, we're just like pig farmers, like rural companies. There's no need for AI. Like, how do you convince them? Like, no, actually, you do need AI.
That's a good question. I don't think they're going to deny that AI is not dominating the culture, right? I think they at least somewhat know that AI is dominating it. I wouldn't know how to first interact with them in the beginning because I haven't interacted with them like West Virginia, Appalachian Mountains or something like that. But I would love to talk to them about it. Um, because they have a completely different worldview and mindset, right? Than us.
Yeah.
So I first need to learn what their living style is and what they see. I need to first put myself into their shoes. Um, but sadly, right now, most of the people that I connect with nowadays are already super integrated into AI. There's no use for me to like promote AI to them, right? So that's really unfortunate. And it's like a cycle. And it's also because of the geographical location that I live in right now in Seattle. Um, Everyone is pretty well versed in AI, but I need to learn how to contact people in places like Kentucky and places like that.
So have you thought about this? So this is your first podcast, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
know that.
My first podcast is me being very drunk for some reason, but very nice experience. Yeah.
But have you thought about like you, maybe other co-founders go on different podcasts? Like I know there's AI podcasts, all these different podcasts that like put your misadventures
Sure,
together.
yeah, I'm sure they're willing to,
Yeah.
if they get invited. I thought that you reached out to me because um a week before you reached out to me, a guy named Alec
Yeah, he's on a podcast. Yeah.
reached out. I mean, we talked. Alec and I talked because
Okay.
he was part of like a TED talk and
Mhm.
everything. So we talked already,
Mhm.
and he told me that I should go on a
Yeah.
podcast. And I thought that Alec recommended me to you,
Uh-huh.
and that's how we connected. But apparently, I don't know how you.
I think we're already connected. I'm not
Yeah,
too
I
sure.
don't know, but it was such a coincidence to me,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh wow, this is a golden
Perfect time. Yeah.
opportunity, perfect timing,
Yeah.
exactly. And I really appreciated the fact that there were reminders because I had such a busy life.
Yeah. That's a good talk with Alex. Talk about simulation theory and all kind of like wild and crazy stuff.
Oh, Alec, yeah.
He's definitely a big brain.
He is a big brain. Yeah, he's creating his own company as
Yeah.
well.
But you're a big brain too, though.
Oh no, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Um, so how do you take care of yourself, both mentally and physically?
I meditate a lot. I read a lot of books. In my free time, I just listen to a lot of random podcasts here and there. And I try to keep myself sane in terms of that. But
So how do you meditate? You like use one of those apps like to meditate or like
I used to, but my subscription ended. and I didn't want to pay for more, so I just do quiet meditation sometimes, and it really helps with focus and relaxing as well.
You like do it first in the morning, like 10, 20 minutes, or like what's your process for that?
First thing in the morning, I actually do like a whole gratitude journal. So when you're like barely conscious, you need to like feed really positive things into your brain in the morning, first thing in the morning, before you're fully conscious. So that's what I try to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, I got into the habit of meditating like midday whenever I'm in a room by myself, and I end up falling asleep as well. So it's like a meditation plus a power nap combined, which is great.
I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in power naps.
I,
Best
I
thing
believe,
ever.
yeah, no, 10-minute power naps actually do change your focus and everything.
How about 3 hour power naps?
3 hour power naps, is that called a power nap? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
But I really need to, work on my sleep
Yeah.
because sometimes I like get into bed and then I like toss and turn for a long time. Lots of things.
So obviously you have a lot going on, right? You're doing a lot of stuff. Like, how do you like let's suppose Monday, right? How do you make sure on Monday you focus on priorities 1, 2, and 3 versus working on priority number 77?
I don't think about it like that. I just wake up and know what I'm gonna do from the beginning.
So you don't get
It's because I have a routine.
so you don't get distracted by the shiny object things like that. You know,
Not too much. And it's all because I do have a routine. I know like what I'm doing on Monday is different from what I'm doing on Tuesday, for example. So I know exactly what I'm gonna do every single day. And so I don't have to think too much about priority number 77 versus priority number 1.
Okay.
So my main priority is going to be my jobs that actually pay me pay me money. So yeah, that's where my main priorities.
Okay. And then for your 2 jobs, are they like supportive or your like nonprofit?
Yeah, no, one is Seattle Children's Hospital. So they've been going on for a long time. And the other one is funded by the billionaire Paul G. Allen.
Okay.
Who passed away, but still very, very well-funded institutions. So yeah, I get paid there.
All right.
But
I might ask this already, but what do you see as the future of AI?
I'm very optimistic about it. As I said earlier, I am still concerned about the people that are getting the benefits of AI are not equal. There's going to be a big technological and informational gap between the people that are well versed in AI versus the people that are not. But yeah, I'm still trying to be optimistic because I'm committed to being, in the educational leadership field, and I have to be optimistic in order to build a net positive change. So, yeah, I mean, I can't say much about the future of AI itself, but I want to build a community that's well versed in the ethical dimensions of AI.
Okay. And then next, so I think I said this before, but like AI, machine learning, neuroscience, like what's not the future of it, but like you see like that as like being like back in the day, like people were like, okay, you need a math degree, you need a computer science degree, you need this degree like get a good job.
Mhm.
Are we at the point where people are like being like do you know how kids are being influenced? Hey, you have to get an AI degree, you have to study this. Is it are we at this point yet? Like, does that makes any sense?
That you need a degree to get a
Like,
certain
you know, if like in schools, they'll say you have to go to college, you have to get a degree in this, right? Are we at the point now where
I
like
think so.
high school counselors saying, hey, you know, Jason Cabinets, think about getting a degree in AI or ML?
I don't think
Oh,
you need a degree necessarily
okay.
to excel in these fields.
Mhm.
I recently talked to Google DeepMind senior researcher called Bin Kim, and
Mhm.
she even noted that you don't have to go through all of those academia steps to become an expert. You can still just work in industry and pave your own path there.
Mhm.
Nowadays, it's the culture is like about paving your own path instead of following the conventional structure
Yeah.
of academia. Although academia provides you with a lot of resources and opportunities, that's why I would go there. But you need to really know why you're doing certain things, right? Academia definitely provides you with those opportunities and resources for sure.
So since you started a nonprofit, who's somebody you met? You're like, oh wow, I can't believe I'm interacting with this person.
Um, I mean, if you go to our website, I2Axon, there's some really esteemed speakers that we talk to. If you go downwards, yeah, here. Yeah, so we even talked to the founder of Neuralink,
Oh wow.
which is Philip Saves, and he's the one that co-founded Neuralink with Elon Musk.
Okay.
So he worked directly with Elon Musk, and
Okay.
he actually lives in my city right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
Is he still with Neuralink?
No, he left. He
Okay.
left, yeah. But he comes from a neuroscience background, not a computer science background. But he wanted an opportunity to work more with neuroscience stuff. So he's building his own company right now. So I mean, there's so many people that we interacted with,
Okay.
that spoke with our organization, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that you
Yeah,
guys.
to me, that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
big. That's a pretty big deal.
yeah. It was a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Is there anyone out there like I won't say it, I don't want to use the term like your dream person, but is there any like are there like you want to reach out to
My
like hey have this
my
person come like come talk to
yeah.
come talk to people?
My group is pretty obsessed with Andrew Huberman.
Okay, that name sounds
Mm.
familiar.
Yeah, he's a huge neuroscience
Okay,
person at Stanford University, and I know someone that
so
works next to his lab and all that. It's all like interconnected academia,
yeah,
right?
so it's gonna happen. Right, you're gonna have him in the future. He's gonna be good.
No idea. I mean,
Speakers.
he's
It's
a
gonna
very
happen.
busy celebrity, actually. He's like
Yeah.
one of those neuroscientist celebrities.
Yeah.
So I
If I could be wrong, I think he
probably
was on Joe Rogan's podcast a little while ago.
which podcast?
Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, he was. I
Pretty sure he
probably
was.
was. Yeah, he was
Pretty sure he was,
he's like a celebrity,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
But celebrity in terms of neuroscience, and he gives all the tips of like how to have a healthy brain,
Mhm.
so on. Yeah.
So how does someone have a healthy brain? Like you talked before, like getting enough
I
sleep,
should ask Andrew Huberman, not
eating
me.
right. No.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he talks a lot about supplements, NAD plus, and so on, which I don't know the specifics of,
Mhm.
but I always stick to the very generic steps. So,
Mhm.
sleep right, eat right, um, have less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, very generic steps, but even that is pretty difficult.
And you're looking at doing a TED Talk next year?
I don't know, actually. Yeah,
Are you interested in doing one though, right?
if I have something to talk about, then maybe. But
Yeah.
I
I think you
first
have
need
I think you have a
to
few things to talk about.
yeah, I first need to like know what I'm gonna talk about, because
I mean,
with
you
TED Talks, you're not supposed to talk about your company or
No.
anything.
I
Yeah,
mean
you're supposed to talk about more societal things.
Yeah.
But I need to
how AI is going to improve society. You can talk about the danger of AI.
yeah, but
You talk about
I'm too qualified to talk about the AI technological
I would disagree.
Okay.
And I would like, even though you talk about your business, I think you could talk about, starting a nonprofit that improves AI,
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So is that one of your like goals for next year or?
It's not even one of my goals, actually, because I need to first know what influence I'm actually having in the community.
Mhm.
And as you said, you talked about people in Missouri. Like, how am I going to approach them? I can't even answer that concretely.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of things.
I would say
to
you're
work on.
like doing a lot for society.
I hope so. I hope so.
I think you
Yeah.
are.
Thank you.
So for what's the I hate to use the word stereotypical, but what's a stereotypical person that takes this course, this 9-week course?
Anyone interested in data science, computer science, and psychology, I would say.
So like, is it like a certain like age, like race, sex, educational background?
Yeah, right now it's just college students that are physically attending the course, but we're trying to make it much more accessible to people outside of college. We recently collaborated with a national organization called Ear Up, which provides certain courses like this to people that are not necessarily in college, but are transitioning from the school force to the workforce. So they're, young adults, but we're trying to make this field accessible to anyone that's interested.
And so like we'll fast forward to the next course. Let's suppose I go to the next course, right? I
Mhm.
start day 1. what's like the minimum requirements I need to do for the course starts? I need to study something.
Nope.
I just
No,
show
no,
up that first day.
all we ask for is your dedication and your commitment to show up and actually do the assignments. That's all we ask for. It's accessible to anybody, even those without any technical coding experience in the past.
So I go to the first course. So there's like homework between the first course and second course.
There are some assignments that are very light.
Okay.
So most people say that
define light. I think your definition of light might be different from mine.
that's true, but I mean, you can even just look at our presentations online right now and see how introductory it is.
So I take the first course. What's the time commitment between the first? What's the time commitment for the homework?
Literally less than 3 hours per week. We're trying to make it less stressful for most people because most people spend already like 30 hours per week.
Okay, then let's suppose I go the first course, the first day of the course. You give me homework, and I blow it off. What happens to me? Like I get kicked out, or like you're like, Jason, like what are you doing? You're not committed to this.
No, what we're mainly concerned about is the attendance.
Okay.
So that as long as you attend the course, we might be a little bit lenient about you turning in the assignments because we know that you have a lot of responsibilities outside of the course.
So how does someone, I'm sure this has never happened, or maybe it has, how does someone not get a certificate? Like what has to happen with someone like, I go to your course for 9 weeks. Like, what do I have to do not to get a certificate?
Not attend the course for
so as long as I
less than 8 weeks.
Okay.
So I think the 8-week, we have like 8 week. I think the entire course is like about 10 to 11 weeks actually. And we only accept up until about 8 weeks. But if you attend less than 8 weeks, then you won't get a certificate.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do have attendance is pretty much mandatory. And the assignments, we're a little bit lenient about it because we know that there's so many responsibilities.
And the course, that you say every Friday in the evening time?
Every Friday evening. So like what did you do in your Friday evenings when you were a student?
I was out, doing stupid shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would be doing too. But these students are coming into a freaking.
And you say evening, so that's 6 to 8, 7 to 9, 5 to 7.
It starts at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts at 5 p.m. and then you can go for as long as you want.
And where campus do you do this? Is it like in Startup Hall or somewhere else?
No, UW. We do it in the CSC building, the Paul G. Allen, the Bill and Melinda Gates building.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Downstairs. It's so interesting because initially we had a pretty small room, but we had so many students to the point that we had to move to a different, bigger room to accommodate all the students.
And do you ever, of course, you have your own instructors. Do you ever like get a random email from like a AI instructor somewhere and say, "Hey, I want to be a guest lecturer"?
No, we usually reach out to them.
Okay.
Yeah, but we usually have all those guest journal club lecturers lined up. Yeah.
All right. So obviously you already talked about your nonprofit some, but now can you go like into more detail how it got started, what you're focused on now, and your big like long-term vision for you?
Long-term vision is to expand more globally in terms of the ethical dimensions of AI, neuroscience, and learning intelligence in all its forms. How it started, Chayton and I also were very interested in what intelligence is generally. How does intelligence look like in a machine versus a human and all that stuff. So those philosophical questions made us start the organization, but now we're much more into building a community and building an educational community as well.
So is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't, or anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's great. Yeah. This was a great podcast of, me being tipsy for half of the time, but
all right, nice. So before we get out of here, can you give us any last minute wisdom or advice on anything you want to talk about?
I would literally just say, don't give up. I lived half of my life in survival mode. Like, today's going to be the last day I live, but it wasn't the last day. For some reason, I survived and, building a community now. So yeah, I would just say, even if you get negative feedback, just think about how you can improve and make a positive impact to the society and keep moving forward no matter what people said. And my own parents were the ones that were kind of pushing me back, but I didn't really listen to them. I just kept on going. So yeah.
Nice.
So
Janna, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
thank you so much for having me.
And to our listeners, thank you for your time as well. And remember to be great every day.
Thank you.